Hello everyone, back into today's third and final video. So we're going to have a look at the next 10 to 14 days for today's third and final video. Day 10 will take us around the 28th of September and we'll be able to extend out beyond that. The extended GFS and ECM ensembles running us into the beginning of October. So starting off, of course, what's going on in the tropical Atlantic. So I've had a very warm and dry September up to now. But as we said in yesterday's 10 to 14 day video update, autumn looks like it's about to descend, and yeah, next week looks like it's much more unsettled. Means unsettled and cooler conditions take us through to the end of the month and even into the start of October as well. More about that in a moment. Just say that the first video released today, things went a little bit wrong with that, so I recorded a verification video for the summer forecast and uploaded it to YouTube. I wasn't supposed to be publishing that until like 10-11 a.m. this morning, but somehow or other when I uploaded it I managed to publish it before I'd added a description or any sort of frills to it, and so at around 1 o'clock this morning suddenly the video popped up. So if anybody was around then and saw it, I know I have had some comments on it, or I did I did see the comments that some of you left for me overnight. So yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. That was a mistake. So you wasn't supposed to see that until around 10 o'clock this morning. But never mind, the video has been released anyway now, so that closes the door on the summer forecast. So have a look at that and see how the summer forecast went. Also, of course, GMO Friday is always on a Friday, your month-end look ahead. So have a look at that. It's taking us into like the middle of October. It does look like it's going to be quite an unsettled and cool start to October if the German CFS-V2 models are right. So again, have a look at that one. And tonight after 10 o'clock we can have a live stream, so we'll see how we're all doing and we'll have a bit of a laugh after 10 tonight. Right then, okay, so we're going to start off with this video though in the tropical Atlantic. So it's still a lot going on. I mean, things aren't quite as intense as they were a couple of days ago generally, but still there is a lot going on. Let's deal with our disturbance areas first. Well, we've got 3 disturbance areas. The yellow X is just here. Let's deal with them one by one. So starting off with this one in the far north, that's a very, very long way north. That's post-tropical cyclone Paulette. Post-tropical cyclone Paulette is located 700 miles north-northwest of the Azores. The cyclone is forecast to move quickly southward for the next several days and then stall over marginally warm waters a few hundred miles south-southwest of the Azores by the end of the weekend. The cyclone could subsequently redevelop tropical characteristics late this weekend or early next week while it moves little. That sounds bizarre, doesn't it? So that's like what's left of Paulette, but it's going to dive southwards into the Azores and might sort of redevelop. I don't know if they would, if it did redevelop, would they rename that Paulette? Would that become like a reanimated Paulette, or would they give it another name? I don't know. If anybody knows the answer to that, let me know in the comments. Very, very odd what's going on there. Right, we've also got this yellow X just here. That's disturbance 2. That has a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours and a 20% chance in the next 5 days. There's also a disturbance area just here inland, still over Africa, but will move out into the warm waters of the tropical Atlantic shortly. So that's disturbance 4 with a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next few days, a 20% chance in the next 5 days. They say with this one, another tropical wave is forecast to move off west coast of Africa by early Saturday. Some gradual development of the system will be possible thereafter when it moves generally west-northwestwards over the far eastern Atlantic. That'll be one to watch next week, I think. We've got this orange X just here. That was a red X yesterday, but it's been downgraded a little bit over the past few hours, I think. That one is disturbance 1. Has a 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours and a 60% chance in the next 5 days. Showers and thunderstorms associated with an area of low pressure located a few hundred miles southwest Cape Verde Islands have increased during the past several days. Earlier satellite-derived wind data indicated that this system does not yet have a well-defined centre, but is producing winds near tropical storm force to its east. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for additional development during the next day or two, and a tropical depression or tropical storm could form by the end of the week. The system is forecast to move west-northwestward at 10 to 15 miles per hour through the weekend. So that might just suddenly pep up. We'll have to wait and see. We've got Tropical Depression 22. Tropical Depression 22 is just there in the Gulf of Mexico. That's currently giving maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour with a minimum set pressure of 1,005 millibars, moving north-northeastwards at 6 miles per hour. Let's see what 22 is forecast to do. So we've got to go here. So 22 is forecast to become a short-lived Category 1 hurricane. So any time now it's going to become a tropical storm. And by Sunday, a hurricane, Category 1 hurricane, sort of meandering around the Gulf of Mexico. It may sort of give an impact to the coast of Texas, by the look of it, possibly to Louisiana, but particularly towards Texas, may get an impact from that one, current Tropical Depression 22. And then, of course, we do have a hurricane. We have Hurricane Teddy. It's a major hurricane as well. This is Hurricane Teddy just here. Let's see what that's doing. So Hurricane Teddy is now a Category 4 hurricane, giving maximum sustained winds of 130 miles per hour with a minimum set pressure of 947 millibars. Clicking on Category 4 Hurricane Teddy and going here, we can see what is forecast to happen with this major hurricane. So yeah, going to continue to be a major hurricane through to the weekend. That's the position on Sunday to the south of Bermuda, hitting Bermuda Sunday to Monday as either a major Category 3 or above hurricane or a Category 1 hurricane, and then travelling northwards to finish up somewhere as a post hurricane somewhere around Wednesday, close to sort of Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, that sort of area. That's going to give a very, very significant impact to Bermuda by the look of it. If we go to discussion, we can see that the maximum sustained with it. So yesterday, this was actually being forecast to get quite close to Category 5. It's only 5 miles per hour of becoming a Category 5 hurricane. Then ease that down a little bit. Looks like it peaks in around 12 hours' time with maximum sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. Now, this is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, so it's not anywhere inland. But nevertheless, that is very, very significant and substantial. You think that maximum sustained winds of 140 miles an hour, then gusts are probably going up to around 160, 170, maybe 180 miles per hour. For a Category 5 hurricane, you have maximum sustained of 155 miles per hour, which probably gets gusts to over 200 miles per hour. Yesterday, the forecast prediction for the maximum sustained was 150 miles per hour, so it's just 5 miles per hour short of a Category 5 hurricane with the forecast yesterday. This is solid Category 4 stuff, high-end Category 4. It's very, very, very significant. In a couple of days' time, it has weakened down to around 120 miles per hour. Still very significant, and that's when it is giving a strike on Bermuda. So yeah, we're going to have to keep a very close eye on this. It could be pretty devastating for Bermuda. And this very intense hurricane season continues. We was expected a big hurricane season. We are now having a very big hurricane season, and we wait and see what happens next. Right, let's come back close home, and these were GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Great Malvern today. This is a suggested location. If you would like to have your local town or city featured within this part of the video, then please let us know through the comments, and we are very happy to feature your local town or city if we can. Right, so big changes on the way next week. We've got a few more days of significantly warmer than average upper air temperature and surface temperatures still to go. Upper air temperatures between around 10 and 15 degrees at 8 to 58 HPA. The red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average, so you see how how much above average it is at the moment. But next week it is a case of all change, with a very significant drop in temperature taking place. And then those much cooler than average temperatures take us through to month's end and even into the start of October. So that is a very, very substantial change, isn't it, for the last week of September. Not only becoming much cooler, also becoming much more unsettled as well. So we've got around another 5-6 days of mostly dry weather to go. But from around the middle of next week onwards, here we go. Yes, the rainfall spikes are coming back. We go cool and wet for the last week of September. Very indicative of autumn. It looks like these cool and unsettled conditions are very likely now to take us into the early part of October. So yeah, big changes on the way. Temperature anomalies from the 18th to 26th September are going to be close to average, a little bit below now for the north, and expect these to trend good because this is still encompassing like the next 2 or 3 days, but it's still going to be quite warm. Up to Monday, it's still quite warm. So you can see the change that's coming here, and as we go further on through the next few days, expect these anomaly maps to trend colder. Precipitation anomalies still hovering quite close to, or maybe a little bit drier than average, away from northern Scotland anyway. Again, expect these to trend wetter in the coming days. This is the latest wind flow map from earthnolschool.net. So generally light winds across much of the country today, indicative again of high pressure in control. But we are bringing in a bit of an easterly wind down in the south. So although technically it is quite warm, there is a bit of a chilly easterly wind blowing down across the south. Jet stream is up here, by the way. All of these white lines up here, that's where the jet is pushed up to. For now, the jet stream is to our north, but next week there will be very significant changes. Right, let's move this map around a little bit then. So that's the disturbance area that was Paulette. This was Paulette just here. And that's just a disturbance area, but it's going to move southwards towards the Azores. I don't know what the upshot of that is. If that redevelops into a tropical storm, I don't know if it will become Tropical Storm Paulette again, or if it will get a new name. So that will be interesting to see, won't it? And then, of course, very significantly just here, we've got Category 4 Hurricane Teddy just there, which is going to give a very substantial impact Sunday to Monday on Bermuda. That is Category 4 Hurricane Teddy just there. Looking really nasty. Let's zoom in a little bit. Actually, we'll zoom in further, and the further in we zoom in, the nastier Teddy looks. Actually, look at that, really winding itself up. Quite an amazing image of Hurricane Teddy. Right, let's move through then. And this is how UK Met is looking for Monday. High pressure is through the country on Monday. We're just clinging on to fine weather on Monday. That's the last day. Tuesday, we're going to move a cold front in from off the Atlantic. That'll bring a band of rain with it. It'll break down the ridge. And then Wednesday to Thursday, here we go. Low pressure in off the Atlantic. Been a long time since I've had a chart looking like that. Very unsettled and very autumnal by the time we get through to the second half of next week. GFS very similar. Again, the ridge just clinging on by its fingertips on Monday, giving us one last day of fine and potentially really quite warm weather. Temperatures in the south could still be up to around 25 degrees on Monday, but here comes cold front. There's the cold front just there. The elongation in the isobars is the cold front. It's going to bring a band of rain across the country on Tuesday. There's Teddy, by the way. Band of rain going to come across the country during Tuesday, and that breaks down the ridge. Then we go through to Wednesday, Thursday, deep low pressure, autumnal low, moving in from off the Atlantic. The minimum central pressure with that is around 970 millibars, I think, so it's a very deep area of low pressure, bringing heavy rain and a big drop in temperature as well. And we're going to the second half next week, into the last weekend of September, not only very unsettled, close to low pressure, but also becoming really cool as well. So, yeah, we're going to have low pressure, it's trough of low pressure to our east. We're going to draw up a mid-Atlantic ridge. That's courtesy of Teddy. Teddy sort of stalls to the south of Greenland, but has quite a lot of warm air with it. That will send warm air advection up to Greenland probably, and that inflates a ridge somewhere in the mid-Atlantic towards Greenland and Iceland. So with the area of low pressure moving to our east, that turns winds into the north, and that could actually give us quite a cold end to September. We will probably start to see the first snowflakes of season turning up over the Scottish mountains, can you believe, by the end of next week. And we stay cool and settled then right way through to month's end. High pressure blocking around Iceland and Greenland. Low pressure is in the North Sea. We're pulling in a north-northeast wind. Obviously, if this was winter, we would be talking about very cold weather and snow. It's only late September, so away from Scottish mountains, there won't be much snow, despite what you may have read yesterday in the Express talking about blizzards and that sort of thing. It is only late September, so any snow will be restricted to the far north of the country over the Scottish mountains. But we will all feel very cool with that, and it's a huge change on what we've had through this September so far. So we'll notice it. You'll notice the drop in temperature. And obviously, if winds start to fall light, then we will probably have to start thinking about ground frost, definitely, maybe even for the north, some air frost. That's exactly what starts to happen as we move towards the beginning of October. We start to topple this ridge down across the country, so winds fall light then, and that's like the perfect recipe for some early frost, actually, as we get into the beginning of October. By the very end of the GFS run, which gets us to the 4th of October, we're under an area of low pressure, still with high pressure out to our north and west, so looking cold and wet at that point. GM looks like this, a ridge of high pressure again through the country on Monday, just keeping late summer going for one last day. Tuesday, in comes a cold front that brings a band of rain south and eastwards across the country, followed by cooler air and showers. And then we go into this very unsettled stuff as we get through to the second half of next week. It turns wet, cool, strong winds, not as much of a northerly influence from the GM as the GFS is showing, but all much of a muchness, really all very unsettled, low pressure in the ascendancy, bringing autumnal weather to the UK and to Ireland and to Western Europe generally. And then the ECM looks like that again. High pressure keeps us warm for one last day on Monday. Tuesday, in comes that cold front, bringing a band of rain south and east across the country, breaks down the ridge. For the second half of next week, yes, low pressures over top of the country, bringing showers and longer spells of rain. And the ECM is also starting to build up that ridge to the south of Greenland with the low pressure in the North Sea. We're starting to turn the wind into the north. Yes, temperatures do a bit of a plummet into the last weekend of September. Very similar to what happened in the last weekend of August, interestingly. So yeah, we're moving up towards day 10. High pressure east, low pressure west. Winds in from the north. It's very much cooler and it's a lot more unsettled as well. Just topping in a little bit of a ridge there on Monday the 28th at day 10. But this low pressure downstream is almost certainly going to roll in and bring us more very wet and unsettled weather if we could go out beyond that. What a change we've got on the way next week. This is rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from Tameteo.com. So the coming days have quite a lot of dry weather. There will be some showers flirting with the extreme south over the weekend, but I don't think much is going to happen with them. More significantly is what happens on Tuesday as this cold front moves southwards across the country. That brings a band of rain with it. Some of that rain is heavy and persistent, by the way. It takes a while to clear from the south and the southeast. So Wednesday could be quite a wet day from that cold front again in the southeast. And then through Thursday and Friday, everything gets pushed on by this deep area of low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic, bringing lots of heavy rain. Beyond that, yes, let's just go back there. You see a little bit of snow is turning up over the Scottish mountains. That green blob just there is a prediction for a little bit of snow over Scottish mountains. I think the Express yesterday was sort of talking about almost countrywide blizzards, but no, it's only going to be restricted to the Scottish mountains. Stick with GavsWeatherVids. Don't take those sort of sources seriously at all. But it is going to be quite a drop in the temperature next week. And there is going to be quite a bit of rain around and some snowflakes over the Scottish mountains. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 28th of September. Have 21 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our east, a ridge out to west and to the northwest. They're going to be cool and unsettled winds coming in from the north. 15 with low pressure again over to the east of the country, but a mid-Atlantic ridge. They're cool and unsettled as well. And then another 15 with deep low pressure over the country and to our east. Winds are in from the north. That does include the control and the operational runs as well. They're all looking unsettled. They're all much of a muchness, just slight variations of the theme. But day 10, 28th of September, they are all very unsettled and they are all much cooler than we've had for a long while. These are the options that we've got in 2 weeks' time. This gets us to the 3rd of October. These are looking quite interesting. So we have 28 members of the ECM ensembles with a mid-Atlantic ridge, but notice heights rising to the north as well. Trough low pressure is probably somewhere around here. So winds with that are going to be in from the north or from the northeast. I would have thought it's a drying trend, but also quite a cold trend as well. Certainly cold enough for some frost, I would have thought, with that by night if skies are clear and winds are lighter. 15 members of the ECM ensembles just here still have a trough of low pressure over country with a mid-Atlantic ridge. But again, notice all this red and orange we've got within the northern latitude. So heights are rising for early October in the north and latitude. Signs of northern blocking. Perhaps getting going. And 8 just here, how really going to town with northern block. Look at all this red we have, like from Scandinavia to Greenland, a trough of low pressure to the south. Winds are coming in from an easterly direction, a little bit like that. Again, probably quite a bit of dry weather, but they're all looking pretty chilly there, I think. All those options are looking pretty chilly for the start of October. So a proper old change is coming, a really big change. And of course, if you've been watching the videos at GavsWeatherVids for long enough, you know that I do look for hints in the autumn. You know, teases, really. I look for teases in the autumn for what could happen in the winter in terms of blocking and colder weather. Is like this last week of September to early October. Is this a tease for the winter of 2020-21? Could it be a tease for the coming winter? Let me know in the comments what you think about that possibility. Finally, finally, this is how the CFSV2 is forecasting October itself. This is a 700 millibar height anomaly for October 2020 with above average heights away to the north and to the northwest. There's no particularly so blocking, that is blocking by the way through the North Atlantic going up towards Greenland. No particularly evident area of low pressure, but where we've got this white area just here, I think that's probably a trough, really, although it doesn't show it that well, but I think that is probably a trough of low pressure. So to me, that looks like it would be quite a cold, wet month, I have to say. Now, the temperature anomaly with CFSV2, as ever, is actually coming out slightly above average. I have no idea why that would be happening with that 700 millibar height anomaly. With high pressure in the middle of the North Atlantic and going up towards Greenland, you would be forcing the wind into Western Europe down from the north. So I have no idea at all whatsoever why the temperature anomaly should be on the slightly milder than average side there. It looks implausible to me. But nevertheless, we go for slightly above average temperature anomalies and possibly hints of being a little bit wet than average as well, of a very, very weak signal indeed. It's always a height. It's always a height or the mean sea level pressure that you must concentrate on. These models are always very much trying to bring in warmer than average temperatures and all of that sort of thing. Always concentrate on the heights and on the mean sea level pressure. And if the heights of the mean sea level pressure look implausible to give either a colder or more likely a warmer than average month, then you have to start adjusting the forecast. But it's always those heights and mean sea level pressure anomalies that you must focus on. Right, so lastly, if you enjoyed this video, then please give us a like on the video. Let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure you're subscribed to the GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel. We are now around 45 subscribers short of 7,500. When we get 7,500 subscribers, I will begin the grind. I'll start the grind to 8k, but we've got to put on another 40 to 45 subscribers first to get 7,500, and then when we get 7,500, the grind will begin to 8k. There's going to be something special that I'll be announcing when I begin the grind to 8k as well. So more about that when we get 7,500 subscribers, I'll have a bit of an announcement when we get 7,500 subscribers about what's going to happen when we get to 8k subscribers. But we aren't yet on the grind to 8k. We've got to put on another 40 to 45 subs before we are. So please click like, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so, and don't forget to tell your friends. If everybody who subscribes brings a friend, then we'll get to 8k that much quicker. Right, okay, so that's it for your video today. We're back after 10 o'clock tonight with a late night Friday live stream. We'll check in, have a bit of fun, have a bit of a laugh. I'll have to sort of key myself up a little bit, and yeah, we'll have a laugh after 10, and that'll be coming up, I say, after 10 o'clock tonight. For the videos over today, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.